Hmm.
Today we are going to see how to make appam using the Inno Mix Surya and Ultra Masala Drum and Ultra Light model grinders. First you have to take some coconut, and this is frozen pieces in the Inno Mix Surya small jar. And always you have to make sure you don't put more than 1/3 of the height of the jar. That's the ideal amount. So you close the lid and then you put it on the unit. Always close the lid before putting it, and then you have to make sure you hear the clicking sound. That's when the switch gets engaged, and then you press the button, and then in the beginning you just pulse it for a few seconds. That's all it takes, 10 seconds. The coconut is ground nicely. Now
Grated.
it's like a grated coconut. So now we are going to use this in the ultra light grinder or the Pride Plus grinder with the masala drum to make the appam. This is the ultra light grinder that you get only from Inno Concepts. This has a smaller drum and smaller stones. This can grind about 3 cups of rice, and the stones are so lightweight you can just handle it with 2 fingers. And this is also called the masala drum because it can grind jeera and other red chilies and other masala. So we are going to fit this, take the regular drum out, and you can put this drum and make sure it matches the picture. So the stones are here and the wiper is facing that. So then use both the hands to lock it in place. Lock it with both the hands. That's very important. And then you always start with water. So pour little bit water and then start the machine. And when the stones are rotating, then you add rice slowly. This is for appam we are doing. So we have soaked 2 cups of rice, and so now we are adding 2 cups of rice. The rice has to be soaked a minimum of 3 hours. So this has been soaking for 4 hours. And then slowly add a little bit more water. The other thing you have to be careful is you should not add too much water. So make sure just you add enough water. So you are starting with about half a cup of water, and then as you are adding the rice, it comes with some water. So you cannot completely drain the rice and do it. So you have to always add with a little bit water and the rice. So once you finish adding all the rice, then you add the ground coconut that you ground it in the mixie. So you add the coconut, and then you have to let them grind together. So when you are adding coconut, you can see that it's absorbing some water. So make sure you add a little water. The key is when you grind it, you have to keep watching it. And the important thing when you grind the rice in this grinder is, so the important thing you have to note is you cannot add all the water upfront. You have to start with little bit water, start the machine, then add the rice slowly with little bit water each time, and then once you finish adding, watch it. When it keeps grinding, it becomes little thicker. When you see that it's getting thicker, then you add little bit more water. So constant watching and constantly adding the water as needed is very, very critical in grinding right. So right now it looks like it is, needs little bit water, so I'm going to just add So yeah, Now you can see the stones are running smoothly. So you know once the stones pick up the speed, that means it has the right water. If there's not enough water, the stones will struggle, especially with the raw rice. It will become very thick. And then if you add too much water in the front, once it becomes the suji consistency, it will start floating, it will never grind. And then when you take that out and you keep it for fermentation, all the rice will settle at the bottom as a sediment, and water will be floating on the top, and it won't ferment right, you won't get the right consistency. So pay attention to grinding. The amount of water, the stone speed, both of them are critical. Now it's grinding. Now you can see it's getting thicker, so that means it needs a little bit more water. So I'm going to pour more water. And also the other thing is you can do is you can just mix it once in a while with a spatula, so that there is nothing splashed when you are adding, and it escapes the grinding. Aappam pidi मेरा पूरा. Now we are going to check if it's done grinding. You can see it's very smooth. So now it's done. So now we have to add the final ingredient, which is the salt. So you add the salt, and then we are also going to add the coconut milk. So the coconut milk we are going to add about half a cup. So you take 1 can of coconut milk, and then you can add that. Now you can switch off, and then you have to let it ferment, and then you will have the good aappam.